Welcome to Prime Sports with me, Razak Musbah. Well, on the local scene, George Afriyie has now turned his attention to the Court of Arbitration for Sports to seek redress following his disqualification to contest for the Ghana Football Association presidency. Now, the appeals committee rejected Afriyie's appeal after he was initially disqualified by the elections committee. According to them, Mr. Afriyie failed to provide the required number of members to support his candidacy. Now, his reinstatement depends on the verdict of CAS. By the moment, the incumbent president, Kete Kweku, is set to run unopposed in the upcoming elections. And we have more in the following report.
The former vice president of the Ghana Football Association was disqualified from the race after one of the 5 individuals who endorsed his form was found to be unfit to do so. According to the vetting committee, one Jeffrey Asari, who endorsed his application on the nomination form as a director of Victory Club Warriors FC, was neither an authorized signatory for the club nor a company director as required by the regulations. This therefore made his nomination incomplete, rendering him unqualified to contest incumbent Kete Kweku in the elections. However, on 8th September, Mr. Afriyie successfully filed an appeal at the appeals committee, calling on them to reverse the erroneous decision by the vetting committee on the following basis. 1. Mr. Afriyie accused the committee of breach of natural justice and fair hearing when it failed to apply Article 8, Clause 3, when it neglected, failed and refused to apply the regulation. He also noted that he provided 6 members endorsing his nomination, and the invalidation of one shouldn't warrant his disqualification, as he still meets the minimum 5. Aside from this, the elections committee, which is supposed to be comprised of 5 members per Article 54 of the GFA Statute 2019, was 6 during his vetting, and this, he says, is contrary to the mandated composition of the panel. After a thorough review, the appeals committee dismissed the plea by George Afriyie and upheld the decision of the vetting committee on the following basis. On the composition of the vetting committee, the committee clarified that the 6th person mentioned by Afriyie was the in-house lawyer of the Ghana Football Association who was present for administrative purposes and not part of the vetting team. This practice, according to the elections regulations of the GFA, is permissible. The committee also noted that it is untrue that Mr. George Afriyie provided 6 members endorsing his form. Rather, the only members submitted in support of his nomination are only 5, with one being unfit to do so. They also explained that Mr. Afriyie rather included a statutory declaration from another person who had not supported his nomination, rendering the document irrelevant. Meanwhile, lawyer for George Afriyie insists the committee did not give them a fair hearing and they will seek redress at the Court of Arbitration for Sports.
In our case before the committee, we told them that certain things were done by the elections committee. They alleged in their decision. And we want to also be privy to those things. For instance, they claim that there was video evidence of the sittings where members, or even the interview of George Jeffrey Asari and the other members of that member of the GFA who had supported it. And we said that, please make it available to us. We also want to interrogate it. But if you are making a decision on the basis of some information against me, at least I should get the benefit of knowing why that decision is being made with that information. Then, just like the elections committee, the appeals committee decides that they will not give us that benefit, yet decide the matter on the basis of evidence that we have not seen. That is another critical matter in this whole.
While it is unsure when the appeal will be filed at the Sports Judicial Review Body, the elections have now been moved from September 27 to October 5, with Kete Kweku on course to contest unopposed. For Joy Sports, Razak Musbah.
Now, the SMEC Internationals organized the second edition of a one-day invitational golf tournament dubbed Redefining Exceptional at the Achimota Golf Center over the weekend. There is more in this Joy Sports report.
This year's edition, dubbed Redefining Exceptional, is to showcase the interactions and networking of SMEC's unique repertoire of project experience, service offerings, and value propositions for urban infrastructure and management device development. The golf tournament, which kicked off at 6 a.m., was followed by a luncheon event where invited guests were treated to a luncheon with an award ceremony for the golf tournament. Frank Edu, who is also the president of the Achimota Golf Club, recorded 40 points in a keenly contested men's event to walk away with the ultimate trophy and a golf bag from sponsors. Edu commended SMEC for coming on board for another exciting event, adding that sponsorship was a great boost towards the growth of the sport in Ghana.
Sponsorship is what drives sports. So anytime you have a sponsor sponsoring a game like golf, which is a lesser known sport, it gives the game a big boost. So sponsors are very important. So today's event sponsored priceless. So at Achimota Golf Club, we already put out a program which has discounted heavily up until the end of 2024 the fees for female golfers. That's why I was telling Jose, the CEO of SMEC, that he should encourage and actually support, pay for particularly the female staff of SMEC to play golf.
The regional manager for SMEC West Africa, a group of the Sabana Jurong Group Singapore, Jose Fernandez, also said they were pleased with this year's edition.
It's a gathering of our staff, our clients, our potential clients, and our friends. And this is the main purpose of even golf. Golf is always a gathering of people to enjoy company and enjoy networking and enjoy the company of each other. So it's a very good ambience that we have in here. And we are very happy to host all these guests around here. From last year, we got a very good feedback. People, this is basically a recognition of SMEC and the work that SMEC have been doing in Ghana, and we are always happy to help Ghana to develop the infrastructures and to support the people from Ghana.
Let's do some cycling now. And over 40,000 cyclists die annually around the world due to road accidents. And this is according to the World Health Organization. Now, some of these accidents have been attributed to the lack of dedicated cycle lanes in some of these countries, including Ghana. Some cyclists in Ghana have therefore called on government to improve on the provision of cycle infrastructure to enhance safety. There's more in this report.
Although cycling provides an indispensable way of reducing automobile pollution, traffic congestions, and meeting the minimum daily physical activity recommended for healthy living, cycling infrastructure continued to be limited in Ghana. The situation has forced most cyclists to resort to sharing the same road as motorists at the risk of their lives. Speaking at the launch of this year's Society for Criterium race, founder of Gladiators Cycling Club, Kojo Graham, advocated an increased efforts to improve upon cyclist safety, provision of cycle infrastructure, such as clear demarcation of the roads for cyclists.
I very well recall what it was to ride in Accra 15, 20 years ago and what it is to ride in Accra today. I mean, the risk level is definitely higher, and the need for cycling lanes has become more obvious now than any other time. But then, of course, you realize that the challenges of infrastructural development in Ghana has also been in such a way that cycling lanes have also become a victim of lack of resources and infrastructural development. When you travel outside and you go to other countries where cycling is taken as a serious activity and also as a way of promoting decarbonized transportation, so that people tend to rely less on less carbon emissions coming from vehicles and all that kind of stuff. But here in this part of the world, you know the challenges that we face. So things like cycling is not as important.
He also called for the adoption of a car-free day, as is the policy in Kigali, to encourage cycling, especially in Accra.
I've been to Rwanda, and I've enjoyed the experience of what you just mentioned. And so I think it's all about the commitment. It's all about the political will and the governance, and the commitment to do these things. Once it's done in Rwanda, it can also be done in Ghana. But I think you need the level of commitment at the national level to trickle down to enable us to achieve something like that.
The Osajifo criterion, which is in commemoration of the birth of Ghana's first president, Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, is in its third year and is slated for September 21 this year. The event is expected to draw cyclists from across Africa to compete for the 15,000 cedis and 10,000 Ghana cedis cash prize for the male and female categories, respectively. Here is Kuku van der Pooy, a member of the organizing team.
This is the course and the distance that will be covered. So the race will be started in front, opposite the GRA office at the ministries, and we'll be heading straight to the Ministry of Gender and Social Protection traffic light. Then we'll initiate on the right towards the National Theatre Road, and then we will go straight to TUC traffic light, and then we'll take a right to the Accra Psychiatric Road that leads to the Greater Accra Regional Hospital. When we hit the Ridge roundabout, we come straight down to Parliament House. When we get to the Osu Cemetery traffic light, we hit right again towards the Accra Sports Stadium entrance, coming straight towards the starting point. So this is the circuit we'll be competing on. And the total distance, total laps that we'll be doing will be 25 laps, 15,000 Ghana cedis. The second prize winner will be taking home 7,000 Ghana cedis. And the third prize will be taking home 5,000 Ghana cedis. With the female elite race, they will be doing a 77 kilometers. And the first prize winner for the female will be taking home a 10,000 Ghana cedis. The second prize winner will be taking home a 5,000 Ghana cedis. And the third prize winner will be taking home a 3,000 Ghana cedis. This is the new jersey for the year for this criterion. And we would post them on our social media pages so you have a better look at them when they are out.
The Osajifo criterion is one of many initiatives by the Gladiator Cycling Club of Ghana, including Ghana by Bike Divas Cycling Club, the Lamisi Project, and the formation of a pro team that has birthed national team cyclists. For Joy Sports, Razak Musbah.
Now, the deaf national football team are in danger of missing out of the upcoming 4th edition of the World Cup Championship in Malaysia. The competition is expected to begin on September 20, but financial difficulty for accommodation and feeding is becoming a huge challenge. Now, their president, Christopher Ekpo, has been explaining to my colleague Nathaniel Lato why it is important they make it to the event.
To be very frank, the problems that we have been facing is they are too much. We have been making preparations for Malaysia for so long, but yet up to now we have not been getting support. Even for the players to camp, we have not been able to get the players to camp. Because of that training, they have not been able to train. Because of financial problems where we can get a place for them to train, so they are training on their own.
See, so is it to say that as a unit, the team is unable to train at all? You've not been able to put together any training sessions for this tournament?
I say, if by the grace of God, if we are able to get opportunity for a few days, they will be able to train before the beginning of the tournament.
Now, tell me about, the schedule for this tournament, okay? Because you're supposed to leave by a certain time. The tournament will take place at a certain time. So if you have 2-3 days of training, that will definitely not be adequate.
I've always been talking to my players that wherever they are in, where they live, where they are together, they put a lot of effort together to train all the time. Because previously we are not able to meet, so they should do that on their own. Because anytime we are able to meet, because they are already training, they are fit. Just a few tactics that we put in place, and they'll be able to get up from there.
What What has the the deaf football team done, the leadership of the football team done to reach out to authorities? Obviously, deaf football is also under the Ghana FA.
And that is told, it's very difficult to answer. Actually, we need to thank God for that. Our leaders have been helping us, especially the Ministry of Sports have been supporting us small. Yeah, so we thank the minister. At least they accepted to pay 20 players and the team to go to Malaysia.
Now, how much time do you have to get all of this together? Because, I mean, if you don't leave Ghana before the start of the tournament, then it becomes impossible. How much time do you have, and when exactly have you been assured by the ministry that money will be given you?
Before the minister promised the tickets, so the tickets are done with, but the accommodation and the feeding, that one was not promised by them.
And just before we wrap up, how much in terms of the
yeah, actually, yes, for the accommodation and feeding, we needed 43.
That's all we have for you in Prime Sports with me, Razak Musbah. Up next is PM Express with Evans.